Hi, this is Kane Fitzwater. You're watching my channel, and we are continuing on with our life beginnings and always. We are going to leave charity at the end. I saw someone made a comment about leaving it at the end, and I totally agree. I remembered just after playing Drive that we had a big, huge event at charity, and we were both volunteers. And I figured that would be a great culmination of things and whether we could pull off a charity drive or not together. So I'm going to leave that at the end. Apparently, there's something special to occur, and that would be awesome. Um, I'm thinking of doing talks or hang, and I really think talks should be next. So let's go for it. Another placid summer day was drifting by. Your daydreams were chasing each other, none sticking around long enough to become a firm plan. But you really didn't mind that right now. A tapping worked its way into those dreams. Focusing more, you realized it was coming from your window. A grin popped on your face as though it had been waiting all day for this moment. It's Cove. Heading to the window, you could see Cove outside. His habit of climbing this way really was a true Coveism. He'll rather scale your house than wait the couple of extra minutes for you to come down. I will give him space because I'm not strong enough to pull him in. He stepped across the windowsill with practiced care, brushing his hands down on his pants when he was safe on the floor. There he is. Hey, Cypher. Hey to you. You think my mom's will invest in some bigger windows? Cove laughed at that and took one last look at his exclusive entrance. He hummed with a teasing look on his face. It'll make my life easier, that's for sure. Cove's voice came out quietly, with a strangely pleased smile on his face. I do that quietly? Did something happen? Cove opened his mouth to answer, only to have your phone ringing cut him off. You both turned to where it rested, a little further up on your bed. It was still face down, so you couldn't tell who was calling. It's okay. Your attention shot back to Cove. He smiled at you awkwardly.
Don't worry about it.
Go check it out. It could be important. I'll just wait. Thanks. You shuffled forward and scooped the little noisemaker into your hand. You flipped it over and checked the caller ID. Oh, it's Miranda. Oh, you should answer it. I should say hi too. That's right, Miranda's one of our besties at school, I think, if I remember. With a nod, you accepted the call and set it to speaker. Hi, Miranda. Hi. There was something off about her tone. Cove met your gaze, and you saw the same confusion in his expression.
Have you heard from Terry?
Have you heard from Terry at all, or did you hear about her from Cove? Oh, it's these kind of talks. This is like a group friend talk thing. Huh? No, she hasn't called me, but Cove is with me right now. I'm just gonna be here for a sec. Hey. Oh, hi, Cove. Is that what you were going to say? He shook his head no before realizing that it wasn't a good enough answer when one person couldn't actually see it.
No.
No, Terry hasn't called me today either. Is something wrong? At that, Miranda couldn't hold herself together anymore. The muffled sobs from the other side of the line were unmistakable. Were Terry and Miranda together? And something bad happened? Like they broke up? Oh, they totally were together and they broke up. Terry doesn't like me anymore. If she ever did. Oh no, we had to patch up a relationship. What? That doesn't sound right. You're probably her best friend out of all of us. Oh, maybe they're just friends? I'm so confused. Yeah, why do you think that? She sniffled, and there was a pause as you could hear her shift the phone to her other hand. Terry was here the other night watching movies with me. We were up super late. She realized her parents went to bed, so they couldn't pick her up. My mom and dad were definitely asleep then. Dad works early. I tried telling her it was okay to just spend the night and she could just text her parents what happened, but Terry didn't want to do. Oh, Terry didn't want to. You glanced at Cove. He looked equally unsure as to about where the story was going. Didn't sound like a friendship ending situation. I suggested things to make it easier if she was nervous, like she could sleep by herself in my room while I stayed somewhere else. Yeah? And I said we didn't have to sleep at all. We could keep watching movies until one of our parents broke up. I would have mind. I know not everyone can do sleepovers, but Terry wouldn't even tell me what was really wrong or what I could do to help. I thought we could tell each other anything. I guess I was wrong. I think Terry has a super crush on Miranda and she was afraid something about it coming out and she's not ready. And she probably took it the wrong way? Hold on. I'm so confused. It doesn't make sense. Did she stay in the end? No. No, we got too loud in the kitchen. My dad woke up. He offered to drive her home when he heard what was wrong. She texted me apologizing for my dad having to do that when he needed rest, but that was it. She isn't talking to me anymore. Okay, there's something else going on in Terry's house, or this doesn't sound like it should be ending the relationship. There's something more going on. I swear. You could hear every bit of the tears and heartbreak in Miranda's voice. This continued to be a shock for your neighbor, but Cove recovered and spoke gently. I'm really sorry. There's no way Terry wanted to make you feel this bad, or that she's just done with your friendship because of this. Miranda's sniffling continued. You hope she had plenty of tissues handy. Oh, trust me, girl. I'm. If she's like me, where she's emotional and very over analytical over something like this, there's plenty of tissues. Plenty. I wouldn't say it's not a big deal because to her, this is a big deal. Um, I would say it is really weird. It's really weird that you reacted like that. You can wrap your mind around it. This seems so unlike Terry, and maybe that's why it's bothering Miranda so much. It's also kind of bothering me that Miranda will get this super sensitive about this. Like, I feel like they're not just friends. And everything that they do, there's an extra layer going on. Just like me and Cove. So I'm really thinking that Terry is probably having a crush on Miranda or something. And maybe Terry's just upset that Miranda was wanting them to sleep in different areas, or maybe Terry's just not ready. I think there's more layers going on other than a bestie squabble. I'm sure of it. Miranda's voice sounded a little bit more collected after finishing her story, but you knew that the crime was far from being done. I thought she have reached out to one of you by now. Maybe she's not talking to anyone. That is a little bit concerning that she will withdraw like that. Maybe she's just super embarrassed. Yeah. Sorry for bothering you and Cove about this. Hey, we're here for you.
Right.
Right, you can tell us things. Thank you. Her shaking voice finally conveyed a little optimism, or at least relief, that she wasn't dealing with it entirely on her own. If you do hear from her or anything, could you let me know if she's alright? We can. Thanks. Let's talk later, okay? Bye. 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 I love my little stuffed animals. Okay, let me move this over here. That didn't really seem like an especially productive point to end the call, though you also weren't sure where to go from there. Looking to Cove, his face seemed as lost as yours. With no alternative, you hung up and put your phone back on your bed. Cove crossed his arms, a frown creasing his face. He began to pace the length of your room, clearly trying to put the pieces together in his head in a way that made sense. I would not be confident that this will work out. Because the way, if Miranda's upset about this right now, to the point where she's in tears, this may not gel if Terry doesn't really get around to talking to Miranda about what had happened, what was going on in her head. Um, we have to have Terry do a talk with Miranda just to assure her they're still friends somehow. Um, I would not be confident. I would be worried for sure. And it's possible just me or Cove or just us together showing up to Terry's place and just checking in is probably going to help patch things up. And maybe it will encourage her to take the next leap. So I will try to fix this. Biting the inside of your cheek, you stared at the ground. Hearing Miranda so distraught like that was not easy. What about Terry? The uncertainty was tearing you up. The empty state of your head before learning this was not helping you now. You couldn't put two thoughts together, and flopping back on your bed, you stared into space.
Hmm.
We should probably try calling Terry. Cove's voice managed to drag you back to some grounding. He, he stopped pacing, but you could still see a perturbed look on his face. Yeah, I'm worried about her too. I don't think she's going to answer the phone. I really don't think she would. You bounced up and moved to his side, ready to act on whatever plan you two could come up with. Cove started with the easiest thing. He pulled out his phone and called Terry. Cove let it ring and ring and ring and ring. Terry didn't answer. I knew it! There wasn't even an option to leave a voice message. Your shoulders slumped, and Cove looked even more troubled, if that was possible. He turned to you as if for some lifeline. Could you try calling? I'm gonna send a text just like, hey, I was trying to reach you, call me, or something. Yeah. You took up your phone once more. Unfortunately, after another set of interminable rings, the line went dead. No answer, no voicemail. See, this is why I do the visit. I don't even bother calling. If she's not willing to call others, she's not going to want to answer the phone. Hanging up, you saw Cove visibly deflate. He rubbed his arm, eyes distance, openly struggling with the whole affair. I don't like this at all. They're fighting. We barely know anything, and we're supposed to just wait and see? No! You go to her house! Do we not know where they live? Are we not allowed to visit them physically? Oh, he has a car! I mean, all we could do is just figure out her address or something. Despite it being a minute since he texted Terry, Cove checked his phone again. He was desperate for progress, for something, and you frowned as you watched him. Ah. No, I would stay silent. And I would not say this. I would not say any of this. I'd be like, no, we need to go and visit them. God, I hate this. I really do. There was nothing you could think to say. All you could do now was hope that Terry was alright. It was up to her to reach back out now. Glancing at your own phone in vain, you considered sending a text message too, if that would even help. This was making you feel all twisted up. You could see the same sort of discomfort on Cove's face. There was something consoling in that, at least. Words drifted from his mouth like a feeble breeze. It'll be fine. It's gonna be okay. Yeah. You could hear it both of your voices, how much you wanted to give and receive of reinsurance. You tried to believe these sentiments, weak as they were. Should we? What do we even say if we do hear from one of them? His pacing resumed as he attempted to answer his own question. We should probably tell them to talk to each other instead of only us, maybe. When you're in that emotional state, um, sometimes you want to bounce off your thoughts to your friends and family to get it out of your system. It's one way to vent. It's another to see if you are overreacting or is it something that you could take a different perspective. It's a way to reanalyze what had occurred before you even start talking to this person that had caused this issue. It's a very human thing. It's totally okay that they Miranda talked to us before talking to her. And for Miranda, there's nothing else she could do. She just couldn't connect. She just got ghosted. So it's really all on Terry. And I think Terry is too embarrassed to say or do anything. She just kind of locked herself up. Or just froze, I should say. Ah! Okay, there we go. His pacing resumed as he attempted to answer his own question. Oh, wait, we already said that. He slowly came to another halt, like a gear winding down. Okay, we should find out Terry's side of the story. I agree. We should just comfort Miranda and let up with Terry? I'm not going to say I don't know. If we can't reach Terry, yeah, we should comfort Miranda. We should only tell them to work out between themselves, that's it. The thing is that they're friends with us, and we had hanged out beyond high school, behind school stuff, you know. So I wouldn't even say something like that. You wonder why you always had to come up with things? No, I don't always have that issue. We should find out Terry's side of the story. Maybe that will get the ball rolling. I mean, he has the car. Is this like a plot hole? Do we not know Terry? Where she lives? Nothing could be done until you knew what she thought of this. That much was certain. Cove nodded slightly in agreement. For several minutes, you both remained there in silence, drowning in your thoughts. Eventually, Cove turned around. Turn around. I'm gonna text Terry that we already know what's going on. Maybe she'll have an easier time talking to us because she won't have to pretend or explain. Okay, that's a good idea. Miranda's... No. No. Not these two. I'm not gonna say he's pushing too much, because I'm not gonna blame him, and I'm not gonna doubt him. I think this is my only choice. I totally agree. I would be a little bit more aggressive than what he's doing. Yeah, that might be the only way to get her attention. With the two of you on the same page, he steals his gaze to prepare for taking his next step. This next step. Cove's fingers worked furiously, yet carefully. He was giving his full attention to his words. You saddled up next to him and looked, trying to watch what he was writing. Cove rapidly typed out, "Hey, Cypher and I really wanted to talk to you. Miranda told us what happened. Please reply back." And it was done. Ah! Sorry. We'll just have to see what happens now. I'm not going to put him down because Miranda came to us crying in tears, and it can easily disintegrate, and I hate to see that happen between Miranda and Terry. I'll say this. I really hope she gets back to us soon. Me too. From just his face, you could tell that that wasn't going to do much for him. He was going to be stuck thinking about this until Terry replied, saying, saying, "That was something else you had in common." No! I can't say that! No! Not the spice! Not the common spice. Okay. I'm gonna start over. From just his face, you could tell that wasn't going to do much for him. He was going to be stuck thinking about this until Terry replied, "That was something else you had in common." A small noise escaped his lips. All the frustration at the situation crumbled away from his face, and he spoke softly. "Thanks, Cypher. I'm glad it's just not me with all this happening." Dude, she called me. You're just there. Cove took one last look at his phone and then put it away. His effort at a smile was meager but earnest. "We could just forget about it for a while. Terry will talk to us when she wants to." I would not do this. What kind of asshole would say finally or roll their eyes or like, "Can you leave it alone?" And I would not do this. I won't push him away. But these two, you smiled just a little bit. That sounds good to me, and you simply nodded back. I would not be that quick to get over with it. It was still great on my mind until it's resolved. So I'd probably say, probably not say anything. I would just simply nod. There was a part of you that worried it wouldn't be long before Cove pulled his phone out again, but you were relieved that he had put it away. No, that's not what I would be worried about. I'm worse than Cove. Maybe I am Cove. The last thing you wanted was to fight with him, especially over this. Taking a deep breath in and out, you were thankful for progress of some sorts. What the? Why would I fight over this? I'm totally on the same page with Cove. Is the person who put this together really want us to think a certain way? Do they really want us to fight? That's a sucky ass way to get us to fight. I've been dropping a lot of curse words in this. A silence stretched on in what felt like hours. But it likely wasn't that long before there was a knock at your bedroom door, and Mom peeked in. Just wanted to check on you. Oh, Cove, when did you get here? When she saw your morose expressions, she opened the door all the way, and the question was dropped. Ma was standing there as well. She slipped past her wife to come inside your space. Oh, okay, so she's the one talking. What's with the long faces? Are you both okay? We're okay. Your body language could not contradicted you more strongly. You knew it. You couldn't even lift your eyes off the floor, as though the weight of your worry was dragging your head down. Miranda called earlier. She and Terry are fighting, but none of us know what's going on with Terry. Your parents exchanged a meaningful look, though its meaning was lost on you. I'm so sorry to hear there's trouble with your friend, sweetie. Is there anything we can do to help? Out of the corner of your eye, you saw Cove rub his arm awkwardly, unable to add anything. No, we're just waiting to see if Terry calls or texts or if Miranda does. Well, we can at least help you take your mind off of things while you're waiting. Yeah. Another great idea, Lonnie. We could get the whole gang together for some quality time. Please be video games. Please be video games. Mom gave you a soft smile and added, this will be good, especially since it might help make up for what happened at the farmer's market. Is this an order? This must be in sequential order. But I thought the errands was at the end. How? That was good programming. Nicely done. Really nicely done. Yeah, it will be wonderful. I'll go see what Liz is up to right now. Excited, she fluttered a few steps away and then stopped. She pivoted on her heels and raised a single finger, flashing a big smile at Cove. No trouble. And of course, Cliff will be welcome too. Knowing your family was always there for you, that couldn't be underestimated. In fact, it meant everything to you that your moms cared so much. I really appreciate this. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. That's really nice of you. And also really nice for not killing me for being in a room. Honestly, I think where I live is part of the whole Southern Belt thing where they don't like the idea of boys being in the girls' bedroom at all type of thing. And my parents are lenient enough where I could have my friends hang out in my room because they know that I'm just not the type of person that would do anything like that. Because, you know, demisexual. But anyway, but most people that I know of would freak out if, you know, the opposite genders are in the bedroom at this young age or whatever. But on the other hand, we're adults. Really young adults, but adults. So I think they're going to be a little bit more lenient because they're really still hoping that we'll get together. Which I'm sure we will.
You're welcome.
You're both very welcome. Don't sweat it. Not so, kiddos. Leave everything to us. Just relax and we'll call you when it's all together. Maybe we'll get to play Parcheesi or something. You nodded, and your mom's dispersed for now, springing into action for their impromptu get-together. Or maybe it's Cards Against Humanity. Who knows? You plop down on your bed, feeling like you could sink into it and disappear. Cove, meanwhile, took a spot on a chair off to the side. I'm way more introverted. But it's really showcasing the introversion. I was correct in selecting what I did at the very end of the what you call it? The farmers market where they ask whether I like being independent or not. It's a common misconception that if you're an introvert, you like being independent. And the problem is that I don't mind being with people, but I get easily tired with people. And that's why I like being by myself because I need to recharge. But that doesn't mean I hate people. I just need to recharge after being with other people. That's the whole introversion thing. I need the recharge. I can be sociable. So I think that they're drawing in heavily that I'm a very introverted person. Like staring off to space and thinking for a bit. So I really don't know someone who is an extrovert if they're going to get the same type of response here. This little type of extra programming is really nice. That's really, really dynamic, and I really like that. But I think it's going a little bit too far. I don't know. But I am a little bit of a worrywart. I wouldn't hang out in my room too much. I would like to hang out in the living room and watch or do video games. Try to get my mind off of something, which never helps. You sigh at the same time, and Cove's mouth pulled into a bent smile at that. Gave his phone another quick check and his eyebrows furrowed. Still nothing? Yep, this is crap, huh? Yep. Cove chewed the inside of his cheek as if to mimic the stress that was clearly eating away at him. Who chews the inside of their cheeks? That hurts. Cove, what's wrong? What's really wrong? One disagreement doesn't make you act like this. Maybe I am, Cove! That got a pointed pause in his movement. Cove was carefully trying to put his thoughts together. He spoke in a fragile voice. When people you care about, when they're unhappy with each other, there's nothing you can do. At least when you're in a fight yourself, you have some responsibility, some control over it. I wish. I wish it didn't have to happen, but that isn't possible. So, well, I guess. Oh. He is being triggered back to what had happened between his parents when they split. He doesn't want to see Miranda and Terry split. And he really is fixated on this more so because he's gone through it feeling helpless and not having any control in that situation. And here he thought, well, maybe I have, some way to fix it somehow, but yet it's finally out of his hands. He did all he could. I still think we should have visited. I really don't like this. Unless there was some sort of no visiting at my house kind of rules. My folks, when I was growing up in early high school, did not want anyone to come over and visit without them knowing, and it's really hard to get that scheduled because they're so busy. So it was always a challenge in trying to hang out with my friends because I would always hang out in the backyards, on the street, because we live in a cul-de-sac, or I'll always go to their house. I never have enough opportunities to have them come visit my place. And that was rough. His attempt at giving a nonchalant shrug after that was pitiful. I won't go here. I won't say, yeah, whatever. I would do this. Yeah, it makes me feel horrible too. See, I'm a little bit fixated on that because I hate seeing friends dissolve from something this small and such an easy miscommunication. I hate to see that, get separated over something ridiculous like that. It's understandable if people move away and they don't see each other for a long time. It's totally understandable if people graduated. It's hard to stay connected. Totally understand that it's going to be years and years. But here, it would make me upset. In your lap, your hands momentarily curl into fists. This kind of powerlessness, it wore you down. Yeah, I get it. You looked to Cove and were reassured by his understanding nod. There was a question you had to ask. Is it because of what happened with your parents? Cove ran a hand through his hair, a strange smile spreading across his lips. For him, this pain struck close to his heart. Just as quickly had it come, his smile was gone, lost amidst his faraway gaze. Yeah, you got it. It's just like my parents. Despite knowing him for so many years, Cove had never spoken of the years before he moved to Sunset Bird, before his parents separated, in any detail. I understand completely, because that's a really sore subject. Because when you try to talk about what had happened before then, you kind of want to go back to that. And you can't. It's only part of your memories. He whispered his thoughts distantly, almost unconcerned with whether you could hear them or not.
That's
They used to fight all the time. Oh, that's bad. I think they got along when I was a baby. I mean, they had to have wanted to be with each other at some point, but when I was old enough to remember anything, it was really bad. Wow. There was always something wrong, and I could never help. I just wanted them to be happy. You tried to imagine your mom's breaking up, and the very idea scared you. It should. But Cove have endured that for real. I'm sorry. Cypher,
don't worry about it.
it's okay. Despite that revelation, Cove gazed reassuringly at you. It's not like that anymore. Things are so different now. I don't even really think about it. Again, the sorrow reasserted itself. When he continued, you could barely hear him. Though, I guess it's pretty obvious. I haven't forgotten either. I'll hug him. I'm the hugging type. You crossed the room, picking a little bit of speed, and Cove's eyes widened. He shot out of the chair and stood waiting for you with a nonplussed look. Oh! If my character ever hooks up with Cove, and finally everything clicks, I would hate for us to, like, break up for anything. Just try to stick to it to the very bitter end, you know? Because he's gone through a major breakup in his life. I hate for him to go through something like that in our friendship slash relationship. So, no, that would be awful. When you collided into him, wrapping your arms around his middle and knocking the air out of songs, all mystery was gone. Cove squeaked. He secretly was a mouse.
Oh,
Oh, I'm gonna die now. He returned the gesture longingly. Exhaling, you press your cheek into the warmth of his chest. I totally did not read that right. The tension stuck inside you, released like a river flowing into the ocean that was Cove. Oh. Am I the beach and he's the ocean? I like that analogy because way back in our earlier playthrough, I was just staying on the beach while he went out to surf. I like that analogy. The firmness of his hug told you Cove didn't plan on letting go anytime soon. You both needed the comfort and closeness for just a little bit longer. I think I would also be extra worried because this is also hitting close to home in our friendship where we have been able to grow up together and finally gel as friends, or probably a little bit more. And seeing the fight between Miranda and Terry, I guess in my character and my perspective, it's going to be scary because what if that happens between me and Cove? That's my mindset, at least. When he finally did, the two of you took a seat again, but this time side by side on your bed. Today was a lot, huh? Yeah, it was. I'm gonna do this. I think it's just obvious that it's going to make us gel together closer. Like, I think we need to be uh, more firm in our relationship, maybe. Resting the side of your head onto his shoulder, you glanced up at his face. Cove watched you affectionately. In that gentle gaze, you finally felt like everything was going to be okay. No matter what happens, we can make it work. His mouth pulled into a bent smile at that. You chuckled, resting your head comfortably back on his shoulder.
me too.
I think so too. I felt like that's a unspoken, yeah, we're together, I think. And for a while you stayed like that. A comfortable quiet fell between you, and the sun fell with it. The warming calm ended when Cove gasped sharply. You spun, half expected to find him nursing an injury, but instead find him staring straight ahead. Why would he be injured? What did we do? Why?
Oh my god.
I think my phone just vibrated. I'm not gonna make any commentary about that. Not gonna do it. Nope. Nope. Check it out. Right. He patted his pockets, fumbling in his panic, and yanked the phone out. The force of the action nearly catapulted the device out of his grip entirely, but he caught it just in time. His eyes honed in on the screen. It's Terry! Thank God! She says she's sorry. He looked back at you, eyes wide as his nerves starting to fray once more. What should I say? um, ask if she's. Oh shit. I'm between these two. Ask her what's going on and ask her if she's talking to Miranda. Because that took a while. Actually, ask her what's going on. Maybe she is talking to Miranda at this point, but we need an update. He flashed you a shaky smile as he began to type. You suspected that he had similar thoughts himself, but wanted the reassurance of a second opinion. We totally were on the same page. Wow. That doesn't always happen. Cove's phone buzzed nearly as soon as the message was sent. It's Terry again. She's talking to us. She asked about what Miranda said, but wait. You leaned in, watching the conversation unfold on Cove's screen.
Right.
She's gonna actually call. Cove held his breath as he waited. Though he was good with people, he'd never been at ease managing conflict. Oh, is this his first time managing conflict in people? His phone rang out. Cove jammed the answer button. He switched the phone into speaker mode, allowing it to participate in the conversation. But despite his immediate reaction, his voice lacked the same resolve as he spoke. Hey. It was tentative, a white flag fluttering in the wind. Oh, come on. Cypher is here too. Hi, we've been worried about you. Hey, buddies. Terry's voice was barely recognizable without her usual quick pattern energy.
Are you okay?
Are things okay? I don't know. Probably not. Cove tensed, his free hand coiling into an anxious fist. Can you talk to us about what happened? Don't you know already? Miranda explained some of it, but it doesn't make sense to us. You heard Terry sigh over the phone as she unburdened herself. Pretty much, I was at Randy's house. We decided to watch some movies she super liked that I'd never seen before. Turns out there's a lot of those. We watched one, then another, and another. We were having so much fun. Each time one finished, she had another one to share with me. I really didn't think about the time. I only wanted to say yes to Randy watching movies. She spoke wistfully, but her words were full of affection. It was Randy, you know. I wasn't thinking about my schedule or what time it was. I get it. Then I finally saw the time and oh no, it was way too late. I already knew I couldn't stay. She took a deep breath, her voice becoming softer when she resumed talking. I was so stressed out. I just couldn't deal with it. You know, Miranda wanted to help. She kept coming up with ways to make it better and trying to figure out why I was so upset and stuff. I was trying to answer her questions and there were so many. But I couldn't really answer all of them. I didn't even know why some of her ideas didn't work with me. It made my head ache. I still had the first problem and Randy there and trying to help, blasting all these questions and yeses at me faster than I could even think. She gulped audibly, sniffing. I got frustrated, told her to just leave me alone, but then she wanted to talk about why I wanted that, and we started having a fight in the kitchen. Woke Randy's dad up. I think they're more than besties. And I think Miranda is really picking up how Terry's feeling about her. And she's wanting to. I think that's why she got really upset when she told her, leave me alone. Terry probably got overwhelmed by Miranda going overboard. And sounded like Miranda was going overboard anyway that whole day. Um, which normally wouldn't upset Terry except for the time situation thing. Um, but for her to blow up about leaving me alone, I think Miranda wanted more than just best friends with Terry. I think. And the fact that they had a fight, and there's probably words that they said to each other that probably wasn't cool. It all just came out. I what they need to do is just talk to each other. I think that's just what it is. Just let them hash it out, not in a bad way, just, let them know that they're sorry about saying bad things to each other and maybe come up with a solution. I don't know. don't know why I'm getting so worked up about this episode. We told him about how I wanted to go home, but my parents couldn't get me, so Mr. Eckert offered to do it. That's nice of him. Terry groaned. I know. I accepted because I definitely couldn't stay then, not after throwing a racket and turning into a big deal. But I feel awful and embarrassed. Oh, I called it. She was embarrassed. Why did I yell at Randy and hurt her feelings? And I made her dad lose sleep by waking him up and having to drive me home. What do you say after that? I have no idea. I don't know where to start. And I don't want to make it worse by saying the wrong thing and fighting again. Yeah, at this stage, I could see that. She doesn't know what to do. And she was hoping that time will heal. But in this case, it would have just made things worse. So I'm not talking. It's gonna get worse if you don't. Terry, Randy isn't mad that you didn't want to stay or that you fought. She just wants to feel that you can talk to her. I mean, you can say whatever you want. She'll listen. Not talking to her at all is pretty much the wrong way to go about it. Terry lamented mournfully on the other end of the line, but he had a point. Unless she faced Miranda again, there would be no resolution. You look at Cove, hunched over the phone, staring pensively into it, searching for a solution. This couldn't be solved with the other key party missing. But what if you brought them in? Your phone is still free. I would suggest it. I'll just let both parties know that I'm going to do it. I'm not going to surprise on them like that. That would be the worst way to go. What if we call Miranda? That way you could talk to her, but wouldn't have to do it alone. Cove brightened up. The concerned furrow on his brow, which had taken root when Miranda first called, eased.
Well,
that could work. Terry, are you up for it? She made a noise that wasn't a word, nevertheless conveyed her hesitation and worry. But she brought it to a close with a decisive exhalation, as if pushing all negative thoughts from her body. All right, I'll do it. Cove nodded. Now that you received approval from everyone, you pulled out your phone and called Miranda. You set it to speaker and waited for her to pick up. Luckily, she did. Hi, Cypher. Her voice was still distant, as if her thoughts were elsewhere, but it was loud enough for your needs. Hi, you're on speaker. Terry's on speaker too, on Cove's phone. Oh. She paused while she digested this information. You watched the phone screen, hoping that she wouldn't hang up as a result. No, she wouldn't.
really?
Oh, really? Yeah, it's really me. Can you hear my voice all the way from your house to theirs and then mine? I can. You and Cove exchanged looks, waiting for the wall between them to break and wondering who would be the one to do it. As the quiet dragged on, you caught Cove chewing his cheek. He must have weighed up the same question as you, whether to encourage the conversation along or leave Miranda and Terry to resolve it themselves. He must have weighed up the same question as you, whether to encourage the conversation along or to leave Miranda and Terry to resolve it themselves. The answer came in the form of one sniff, followed by another from Cove's phone. That's Terry. Sorry, Randy, I hope you still like me. What? You're the one acting as if you didn't like me. Her tone was defensive, no doubt a result of her wounds from last night still being raw.
What?
No way! Everyone likes Randy. You're wonderful. Your eyes met Cove's. His phone was tilted towards you, capturing the call indirectly. You moved your phone closer to his, hoping that the signal was strong enough to convey every nuance of tone. Oh, this is cool. Okay, this is actually a better result. Cove did likewise, bring his cell right next to yours, even bumping against it as he shifted his grip. I didn't even know what to say. That's the only reason wouldn't talk to you. If I had known the answer, I would have told you right away. Miranda murmured on the other end of the line. You don't want to stay. Everything I tried to do bothered you, and you could have told me you didn't know. Yeah, I think I was angry at myself. I did a dumb thing, and I didn't want to help with it. I wanted to be mad and just deal with it myself. It made me keep doing dumb things. Oh, if you could understand that, kudos to you, because I couldn't. When she spoke again, her voice was quiet, as tender and vulnerable as the words.
I'm sorry.
Staying up late watching stuff was all my fault. I had to find a way to fix it. That's what I thought anyway, but I should have given you space. I'm so sorry about being so pushy and sensitive. Yeah, she is a little bit more sensitive. But I'm beginning to see a pattern where Miranda is a little bit more, not aggressive, but a little bit more interactive. Not interactive. She pushes. She pushes a lot. She's a little bit more head on and direct like that. And Terry does claim up if she's overwhelmed. So I'm beginning to see a pattern in their friendship here. Hardly. Miranda Eckert having a flaw? I haven't heard such a crazy thing. Miranda let out a ghost of a giggle. Cove cleared his throat. Maybe you should call each other now? Oh, sorry. Can do. Thanks for giving me the kick in the butt to do this already. Randy, Mandy, I'm gonna call you right now. Bye, Cypher and Cove. She hung up after squeezing in another quick bye, though not giving you or Cove room to respond in kind. Miranda left, the noise tinkling gently like wind chimes in a summer breeze.
You're really nice.
Thank you for listening and helping. I'm gonna hang up now so I can answer Terry's call. Bye. Bye and good luck. Bye, talk to you soon. Miranda hung up, still chuckling softly as her call ended. So Miranda was overthinking things, as was Terry. Terry was overthinking things, but in a wrong way. Actually, both of them were overthinking things in a wrong way. And maybe that's just a best friendy thing, you know. It really did sound like it was more of a romantic thing.